It's Champions League and Europa League quarter-final picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com. That's KUTT.com. Use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, MLB, NHL, college basketball, and more. Sign up today using our promo code PLGP to get a 10% deposit match, 100% deposit match as well. We're also brought to you by the premier arbitrage sports betting tool, Arvo. Use their tool to bet both sides and lock in a profit. Access their platform for free at arbsvsodds.com. So arbsversusodds.com. Plus, in honour of Masters this week, the Golf Gambling Podcast guys are giving away a tailor-made Spider X putter for free. Enter at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/masters. Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, April the 8th, and me and Baz are here to have a little look around the weekend of Prem action that's just finished. And we've got a big week of European stuff, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, Champions League and Europa League quarterfinals. I think Barry's been into the EFL as well. So all kinds of things going on. Baz, as you can see, I'm in mid-season form already. I've got at least 4 things wrong in the first 90 seconds of the show. How you doing, Baz? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm all right. A little bit of a different time because you've been away on your holidays with the family. So I've been sitting waiting, ready to do this podcast since 10 o'clock last night. Raring to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure I am raring to go. I'm slightly tired and emotional, Baz, after forced family fun. 3 days of forced family fun's a lot, innit? I can just about do maybe 75 minutes at a push. That's my limit of forced family fun. But 3 days and three nights particularly. It wasn't awful, Baz. The weather was horrible. That's what doesn't help. Because if the sun's out, everyone sit around, the kids, there was little people there. But when the weather's horrible, you then have to entertain them, don't you? And me mother as well is a pain in the arse is the main problem. There was quite a large Kipper-related argument, Barry, happened. Fracas, not dissimilar to your red wine-fueled kitchen fracas from last Saturday night. My mother caused all kinds of barneys over the eating of the Kippers. But it was all right. I went to see houses. I went to Alnwick Castle today. Simmer sent me a photo that the IT department must have put on Facebook of me pretending to be a soldier or being forced into pretending to be a soldier in Alnwick Castle. And he says, "You look like you're having a lovely time." And my face is just like thunder, stood in the sentry guard duty box. I'm clearly not in a good place emotionally at that point. I got in the pub a couple of times though, Baz. Our Airbnb was literally above a pub, but it was a little village pub, so it just didn't shut. So on Friday night, it was still going at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I could literally hear every pool shot. I could tell you who won every game of Killer Pool from midnight till 3 a.m. in that village. And I can tell you I don't know the bloke's name, but he was having trouble with Charlotte, his missus, because he was on the FaceTime. He was FaceTiming Charlotte for about 48 minutes. And he was obviously in the doghouse. Charlotte wasn't having it, and he was just going, "Oh, how are Charlotte, man? You're dead lush, you." And he was trying to apologise to Charlotte for whatever he'd done at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was a little bit noisy, Baz. But yeah, made it in the pub, had a game of darts, ate some food, took the fire stick, and managed to organise the football. So watched quite a lot of football. Watched the Newcastle match with my dad on Saturday. Managed to watch Man United Liverpool yesterday, and now I'm back. Can't wait to get in the bath, Baz, and just not talk to anyone for 4 hours. So yeah, that was my weekend. How are you doing?
A quiet one for me, really. We were away last weekend, obviously up in Newcastle. This weekend at home, kids football yesterday, but other than that, not a lot. Nice quiet weekend. I've quite enjoyed it. Got to watch loads of football. Really enjoyed yesterday's. Watched the Old Firm game. Absolute cracker that was. The Man United game, Man United Liverpool game again, lived up to its billing. Just like the FA Cup game, really entertaining game. So I enjoyed having a good weekend, and a really good weekend from a punting point of view as well.
Yeah, we did some good stuff, Baz, which we'll get to in a minute. Say hello to people who've joined us. Cree was first in. The Backus family, all the Backus people are here. One's working, one's not. It'll be Patrick that's working. He's a grafter, is our Patrick, I reckon. Luke up the Oldham. The Blues have fucked it up, apparently. Not happy. And that's everyone so far. Obviously at an unusual time. Yeah, in terms of picks, Baz, I did okay, which is all I wanted to do. After my 1 for 9 last week. Well, that last week, by the way, we finished recording on Thursday night when it was 2-2, that Chelsea Man United game. And then I had to do the MLB show at 10 o'clock. So Dylan had been asking me how I'd been doing. And I said, if Chelsea equalise here, I've just about saved the week. And then Chelsea equalised in the 99th minute. And I was still celebrating live on the MLB feed when Chelsea scored the winner. And I had to sit down again. So that was just another incredible way of losing a bet. But did okay this week. I had to come from behind again. Saturday started well with the City handicap. And then at half-time, I had a lot of teams in front, money-line teams. Teams don't often lose from being ahead in the Premier League. Wolves were winning. Bournemouth were winning. Villa were 2-0 up. And I was sitting looking really pretty like that. And then all of a sudden, they've all gone the other way. So I don't know if I'm allowed to count Villa because I got paid out, Baz. Villa with over 1.5. I mean,
it can count it for me, Malcolm, because I got paid out as well. I had Villa and over 1.5 as well. As I say, if you were on with a bookie who pays out at 2-0 up, you were okay.
But I did have to come from behind, and I swept on Sunday. I was pleased about that, Baz. 3 for 3. Faded Chelsea. Didn't want to take them to win, which was good, or the handicap or anything, but did take them to score on both halves. And then the biggest one for me, really, which was the absolute giveaway, was the Liverpool shots. I know we jokingly say it. I mean, they concede 30 every week. And the line was 19. And I checked after like 27 minutes and they were on 14 already. So that was an absolute giveaway. And there's a few people up the ladder. Elk messaged us on Twitter this morning. He'd gone up the ladder up to 24 or 25. That was just free money, Baz. But yeah, I think you had a little ladder as well.
Yeah, you put that out. I mean, I took the over 3.5, so won anyway. But as soon as you put that out on the podcast, I said at the time, I love your pick there. And I bigged it up massively on the TikTok live on Saturday morning. I put a YouTube short where I bigged it out again with the ladder mentioned. We put it out on Twitter. So we sort of pushed that ladder on the Man United shots everywhere. And I know a lot of people got on 28 shots on the end. Not Man United, Liverpool shots against Man United. 28 shots on goal in the end. I think I cashed it about 6-1 for 28 or more. Because I did go all the way up. Another one I mentioned was the Backus family, who mentioned on Twitter to us, is as well as Man United conceding loads of shots, they're conceding tons of corners. Patrick mentioned it on Twitter to us last week. Absolutely smashed it against Brentford and done it again. Brentford, I think, hit 14 or 15 corners. Liverpool must have hit at least 16 or 17 yesterday against Man United. So another angle to look at with Man United is the amount of corners they're conceding as well. Is a really good one. But the other ladder I got involved on was the corners in the Newcastle game. And I sort of talked myself out of it on the podcast. I said Fulham had been great for it, but Newcastle, not so much. I talked myself back into it Saturday morning. I put it around in a few places, said, this Fulham corner ladder, get on it. Fulham was 6-0 up on the corners after 15 minutes against Newcastle. It then really quietened down, but then at the end, came with a flurry, finished with 17 corners in the Newcastle-Fulham game. So another big ladder, got up to 16-1 on that one. Fulham corners, definitely want to keep an eye out on. And it's particularly, the key thing is, the last 3 games, they've been coming from behind every time. They were behind against Sheffield United, behind against Forest, behind against Newcastle. And I think that's important when they're coming from behind. Plenty of attack, plenty of corners. Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out on.
No idea how Newcastle won that football match because they were absolutely dog shit in the first half. They were so far off the pace. Sorry?
Yeah, first half they were, but then second half, I think it evened out a bit. And let's be honest, I can't remember Dubravka having much to do for all of Fulham's intent and possession, and they didn't create any massive chances, and they fizzled out of the game quite quickly, I thought. And because they let us in, they let us stay in the game for half an hour, and after that, it became a bit of a sort of, like you said, two bald men fighting over a comb. It wasn't a very good performance from either side, I didn't think, in the second half.
No, it wasn't.
Looking to snatch it, furious with a disallowed goal. Absolutely furious. If you're going to disallow that, you're going to disallow every goal scored from a corner, because all he does is literally just go up and there's a little bit of connection. There's no push, there's no shot. It was ridiculous. To be honest, Mal, I'd mentioned the refereeing again this weekend. I thought there was some absolute shockers, like right across the board. Yeah. I thought the goal in our game was terrible to be disallowed. I thought the goal for Wolves was a terrible decision as well. I had the draw West Ham Wolves as well, so not 100 for that reason. How Everton didn't get a penalty for that Garner foul.
Yeah, that's a penalty.
Absolutely no idea, clear as day. I just thought there was some absolute shockers again this weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't sure about the red card, actually. I was going to talk about that Everton-Burnley match first because I wrote down my eye catches, and I think it's worth mentioning while we do that Everton have been docked 2 more points this afternoon.
Yeah.
That's breaking news round about in the last 2 hours. Changes not too much. I mean, it puts them back down to 16th, where they'd got themselves up to 15th, and back within touch and distance of Luton Town again. But I mean, I just thought Everton got away with it again at the weekend, and I didn't know how their goal came about until I watched Match of the Day, because we just saw it last week with Darwin Núñez, when he charged the keeper down and he kicked it off his arse and he went in, and you don't see them very often. And then we've seen another one this week where Calvert-Lewin charges down Munich, and I didn't think I thought the red card was harsh because the ball's bounced off the Everton striker and gone for miles, so, and the keeper was there as well. It was harsh, but anyway, Everton with another XG of 0.86 and score a goal that, like you say, the keeper has kicked it up Calvert-Lewin's backside and it goes in. But the 2 points off put them a little bit back in the shit. Luton, I thought, were worthy of a mention just because they're putting up a great fight, Baz, and not everyone's quite taken with Luton, I think, at the moment. They're kind of everyone's second team. I think if people want a team to stop up, it is Luton Town. Just because how they've got about it compared to how Burnley and Sheffield United have endeavoured to try and stay up, which isn't very hard. Luton really, really have, with fewer resources and really, on paper, what should be the worst squad. But they've just put up so much of a better fight. And then finally, I think you have to mention Liverpool, because that's put them behind the 8 ball now in the title race. Fine lines. No one had any room to manoeuvre in terms of dropping points, and Liverpool did. I mean, I think Liverpool had like 18 shots by the time Manchester United equalised, and that was Man United's first shot from 49 yards out from a misplaced pass, and all of a sudden that game's 1-1. Thinking, how has that happened? Liverpool could easily have been 4-0 up. So Liverpool
exactly the same as the FA Cup
game and the league game, though, didn't we? We said that Man U will make it hard for them, like they'll manufacture something, and they did.
It was the same game script as the FA Cup game as well, because in that game, Liverpool should have been out of sight in the first half. But if you let Man United in at Old Trafford, and then as soon as they get that goal, it just lifts everyone, doesn't it? And it became a really, really good match at that point, because in the first half, it looked like Liverpool would absolutely cruise it, but you've got to take your chances. I thought Darwin Núñez was poor again yesterday. I had a bit of a debate with people about Isak versus Darwin Núñez. I said I wouldn't swap them. Isak would have scored a hat-trick yesterday for Liverpool. Darwin Núñez didn't get a shot on target, as we know, because he let down a couple of bet builders. But yeah, it it makes for a very, very exciting finish in the Premier League now, doesn't it? Just 1 point splitting the three sides. Really intriguing to see where it ends up. I had pivoted last week to say I thought Liverpool would be hard to overturn now, but it obviously required them to beat Man United. I've literally no idea who takes it at the moment. I change my mind every day.
Yeah, it is. It's really exciting. Like James Mafia joined us, and Benedict, who's a frequent Discord user, pointing out that Luton have got Everton and Brentford at home. If they can pick up 6 points there, that puts them right in the game. It is going to be a great end of the season, both ends of the table, and I think we deserve a good end of the season at both ends. It's going to be exciting. Into Europe this weekend, we've got the Champions League quarterfinals, some huge games, really great sounding games on paper. And then the Europa League and the Conference League as well. I didn't do anything in the Conference League. I'm not even sure. Me and Baz haven't really discussed this much, so I don't know what else. I think Baz has got some EFL, and I've got one little Europa League play, but we are going to look at all 4 European Champions League quarter-finals in a moment. I'll tell you first about Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform, US-based, available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting is a new and better way to bet. You can bet directly against your friends or the users on any subject you like, creating your own betting social network. Cut offers low vig and fully customizable odds. Create your own bets. That's the fun thing. Cut handles all the payments, the social features, and you get cash back every time you use it. So download Cut today in the App Store or at cuts.com. That's KUTT.com. Use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place and the fastest growing fantasy app to play your fantasy sports on. Just pick between 2 and 5 players and some of their prop lines and go higher or lower. On those, you can make up to 100x your money. Sign up today with a promo code PLGP and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Visit underdogfantasy.com. Find them in the App Store. Don't forget to register with our promo code PLGP to get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or over, present to state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Consider your play call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. One thing we were going to mention, Baz, from the Forced Family Fun weekend, I sent you I don't know if people might have seen this on Twitter. Oh, actually, I've got 2 things to mention, Baz, because what I haven't told you about today was the sign from the pub that we went in. So just as I had a couple of pints, I went to the toilet and there's a sign on the toilet door, Barry, and I'm going to read it word for word here. There's the sign, if you want to look. So we're in the Queen's Head, Barry, the pub is. So this is the Queen's Head League Club annual potato in a bucket competition. Collect your potato and bucket from the Queen's Head from Saturday the 6th of April, the 7th of April. Entry fee, £2. Non-members welcome. There's a lot to unpack there because non-members welcome is a great little line on the end for a start for a potato in a bucket competition. So there's an implication that they've got members there. Do you know what I mean? So we thought at first you just would have to throw the potato in the bucket. That's what it seems like, doesn't it? However, when we got there was a bloke unloading. He had a little van, literally hundreds of buckets, Baz. Now, if you're just throwing a potato in a bucket, you only need 1 bucket, don't you? You can reuse the same bucket.
I don't know why you would think it was a potato throwing competition. You sent the poster to me, and that's not what I thought it was going to be. But I'm intrigued to know what it is.
And then you were actually right straight away, because I've since clarified the rules. So you pay £2, and then on the side and one of the tables in the pub was just a load of potatoes. So you pay £2, you get given a bucket and a potato, and then you've got to grow the largest weight in potatoes from that 1 potato, and then you've got to take them back to the pub in when's potato growing season, like harvesting season. So I didn't enter because I would have to go back to where I've been, and I wasn't that keen, but I did quite enjoy that. But I did find this, Barry. Make sure pictures on my phone on the camera. Can you get a look at that, Baz?
Not really. It looks like a roulette table.
Barry, that is a 13th century roulette table. So in Alnwick Castle, in Matey's, the Duke of Northumberland, in his little games room, he's got a roulette wheel in there. You weren't allowed to take photos, by the way. I risked 10 years in the prison, in the castle prison, by sneaking that photograph. But like an 800-year-old roulette wheel.
Nice.
So yeah, historic D-gens only. I like that a lot. Yeah, that was good. Right. Champions League, Tuesday, April the 9th, 8 o'clock kickoff, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich. Arsenal 13-18, -139. The draw 3-1. Bayern 7-2 plus 350. Arsenal continue to impress. 3-0 win at the weekend at Brighton, which was the sort of win you would say was un-Arsenal-like in the past, because that was a tricky game. And I think we both kind of mentioned, did you? You maybe took a little piece of Brighton at the weekend, because it just had that look of banana skin about it. But that's not the way Arsenal are playing at the minute. They look very, very tight, solid. Almost have got a little nasty streak. They've got the tactical fouling thing going on. That was a good win.
Clutching your face, that sort of stuff.
Sorry?
The Ben White rolling around clutching his face like he's being shot, that sort of thing.
He has got a pretty face, like, so that might be one of the things. In fact, really, the least convincing performance recently for Arsenal was in the Champions League, where they beat Porto at home 1-0 and had to win on penalties. They did stuff them, by the way, during the game. They were value for more than the 1-0 win, but they couldn't get the second goal. And my main concern with Arsenal at the minute is, in some of these big games, they've been a little bit too pragmatic. They've actually got quite a bit of stick for not having a go at Manchester City a couple of weeks ago in the game that finished 0-0. And they kind of did that at Porto in the first game as well. I don't think they had any shots on target and lost 1-0. And at some point, if you've got to win the league, you've got to go and win the league, Baz. They could have gone and won it that day at City. And that's because they do seem capable of putting together these different types of performances. So, yeah, that's really my concern with them. Munich, struggling, Baz. They are second in the Bundesliga, but they've lost 2 in a row. Goals galore, tons of goals. Just in their recent form, they've got a 5-2 and an 8-1 win, but they've got 2 3-2 defeats in there as well. So there's all sorts of shenanigans going on. But their form against this level of opposition, Barry, is poor. They've got a 2-0 defeat to Dortmund in there recently. They've got a 3-0 defeat to Leverkusen in there. They lost 1-0 at Lazio in the first leg of the last round. And like I say, Arsenal were impressive again at the weekend. Really straightforward, Barry. Price is on the skinny side, but it's fair. It's a fair price. Arsenal on the money line, Baz. 13-18, -139. I'm just going to... it's a building block, Baz. Arsenal will win.
I've got the opposite conclusion, that I think the price is too skinny, personally.
Okay.
And I think it is a hard game, though, to predict, really. Arsenal yet to concede in the Champions League this season at home. They came through the group stage fairly unscathed, but they did make hard work at Porto. I think we'd ordinarily say this is a step up from Porto to Bayern, but this season that could be questionable because the Bayern form is questionable. They've lost back-to-back in the league, as you mentioned, 16 points behind Leverkusen at the top of the league now. You do wonder whether it's all eggs in one basket now, though, for Bayern, and whether those last couple of defeats are part of just wrapping in and focus on this one. They beat Lazio in the last round. I was prepared to have a little go on Lazio last time, as I thought they looked a bit of value. They won the first leg, as they eventually lost. But I just didn't think there was any value in Arsenal here at home at 8-11. I thought it was a bit prohibitive, personally. Bayern are having an off-season. I do think they've still got plenty of quality, though. Definitely capable of causing problems for Arsenal. Arsenal won 5 of the last 6 home games in 90 minutes. Porto was the one. No, Porto, they did win in 90 minutes as well. I think they might have won the last 6 in 90 minutes. Sorry, they went to extra time, but they won the 90-minute fixture, didn't they, of course. And Bayern's away form isn't brilliant, but they did win all 3 away from home in the group stage. The league's gone for them now. This tournament's everything for Bayern. It's all they've got left. And I think the two of them are closer than the odds suggest. So at 8-11 Arsenal and 7-2 Bayern, I think Bayern are the better value personally. Would I be surprised if Arsenal go and win this first leg? Absolutely not. But I think Bayern double chance. I give Bayern a chance here. So you've taken Arsenal. I've got Bayern on the draw at 21-20. So I've got a plus money price. I've got two options. You've got one at odds on. So the pick for me is Bayern double chance at 21-20. Here's a long shot for you, Malcolm. Do you know what the last three head-to-head games have finished between these two?
0-0.
5-1 to Bayern. 3 in a row.
Right.
3 in a row. 200-1 for Bayern to win 5-1 tomorrow. 200-1. Get on that.
Okay, so we're 26 minutes, Baz. We've covered one game and we've given all three outcomes on that one game. So big well done to us. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Same time next week. It's fucking wasted time, Barry. We're wasting people's time here, let alone, our own. Right. Next up, 8 o'clock Tuesday. Real Madrid take on Manchester City. Real Madrid 9-5 plus 180. The draw 5-2 plus 250. Manchester City 6-4 plus 150. Very tight on the books, Barry. Can you split them?
Hard again. Two teams who don't lose many games at all. There's a whole load of green in the form lines for both of these sides. Both sides were 100% in the group stage. City saw off Copenhagen, winning each leg 3-1. Real Madrid beat Leipzig in a closer game. City definitely made easier work of it. 6-2 on aggregate. Madrid 2-1 over the two legs against Leipzig. City also played Leipzig twice in the group stage. They beat them 3-2 and 3-1. So it did outperform Madrid over those two games as well, you could say, if you're looking for any sort of comparisons. Two sides have faced each other in each of the last two seasons in the knockout stages. City won last season, Real the year before. And in both of those games, in the home leg, Real Madrid won 1, drew 1. So Man City haven't went to the Bernabeu and picked up a win in the last couple of outings at the Bernabeu. Plenty of goals between the two sides, though. 17 across the 4 fixtures where they've met in the last 2 seasons. I think City would be okay if they left here with a draw, as they did last season, and then trying to finish the job at home. Draws available at 5-2. It's not where I've gone, though. I've gone for City to score 2 or more goals. It's just not often you get a chance to back City at a good price to score 2 or more. Normally, you're having to take 3 or more, 4 or more sometimes in the Premier League. They have scored exactly 3 goals in all 8 of their Champions League games so far, Man City. They've had 5 3-1s, a 3-2, a 3-0, and 2 3-2s. This is a step up, obviously, but Real conceded 2 goals 3 times in the group stage. Napoli scored 2 against them twice. Union Berlin scored 2 against them. And they've had a couple of games in La Liga recently where they've let in a couple of goals as well. So there's enough form to suggest Real Madrid can let a few in. I don't think it's a massive ask. City to score 2 or more at a plus money price, 11-10, is my pick. So City to score 2 or more, City team total over 1.5 at 11-10. And because City have scored 3 goals in every Champions League game this season, 7-2 for City to score 3 or more also. And a final one. 5 times 3-1. Let's go City 3-1 again. 18-1 City over Real Madrid to win 3-1.
Well, we can both win, Barry, but it's going to involve Real Madrid not scoring. I couldn't find any patterns in Madrid with terms of goals or totals. That win over Leipzig wasn't very convincing, but they've been dominating domestically, won 13 and drawn 2 at home. City put those back-to-back 4-goal performances in against Palace and Villa. The win against Copenhagen sort of analyse because it's a complete different level of opposition. But the keeper to form, Barry, for my pick were the Manchester City games against similar sides, against similar levels of opposition here. We got a 0-0 against Arsenal 2 weeks ago, Baz. We've got a 1-1 against Liverpool recently. I've thrown in a 1-1 against Chelsea because it suits me. Not that they're anywhere near that level of opposition, but it suits my narrative. And being a first leg, this could be cagey, Barry. So I've gone under 2.5 goals. It's plus money, 21-20 or plus 107 if you're in the States. So once again, Baz, fairly different sides. of this coin. Right. We've got a new sponsor here, Baz. This doesn't help me at all, right? It's spelled AVO, and it says in brackets, pronounce AVO. So does that AVO or AVO? Because the pronunciation brackets don't help me at all. Anyway, we're very proud to partner up with AVO, the Premier Sports Bet.
I think you're supposed to pronounce it AVO. Like
with A, do you think? All right, okay.
Yeah.
AVO. I tell you, I can't tell you how proud we are to partner up with AVO, the Premier Sports Betting Arbitrage tool. If you're new to arbitrage sports betting, it's really simple. You're basically betting both sides of a bet on two different sports books to lock in a profit. The AVO tool scans the sports books looking for discrepancies in the odds and tells you how much money you need to pay with each sports book and the expected profit. Great tool to use, dead easy, lightning fast. Speed is a big part of sports betting with an ARB. The best part is the AVO. It's currently free to use without restrictions, which is brilliant. Completely free. Get started at arbsversusodds.com. So that is ARBS VSODDS.com, arbsvsodds.com. There you go, Baz. I'm sure they'll be delighted with that, Addy. Wednesday, 8 o'clock, is Atletico Madrid against Borussia Dortmund. Atletico Madrid are 4-5, minus 125. The draw is 13-5 plus 260, and Dortmund at 7-2 plus 350. Atletico here, they had the win of the last round, really, knocking out Inter Milan. Inter Milan were one of the form teams in Europe. Beat them on pens after a 2-1 home win. Dortmund beat PSV 3-1 on aggregate, but they were really lucky. They had absolutely no business winning that game at all. They're fifth in the league, but they are trending the right direction. Dortmund, they won 4 of the last 5. But mainly, Baz, this is just on the eye test because I've watched Dortmund a few times. I've watched them in person. I watched them twice against PSV. I watched them before that in this competition. I don't think they're very good, Barry. And again, we're talking about levels. We were just talking about City playing Arsenal and Liverpool, the teams at this level. Dortmund can beat some of the mid-table and lower-table Bundesliga teams. But Atletico won't let them off the hook the way PSV did. Absolutely not. So there's a lot of this is eye test stuff rather than stats. I think Atletico can beat them. I think they're better than them. Dead simple. I think Madrid are better than Dortmund. If they play them 10 times, they'll beat them 7. Atletico 4-5, minus 120, Barry.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this before the Inter game for Atletico. We were big on Inter, but we did say the fear was Atletico's home form. There's a stark difference between the form at home and the form away. Beat Inter 2-1 at home to take that tie to penalties and eventually go through. They've won all 4 of their home ties in this competition, beating Lazio, Feyenoord, Celtic in the group before that Inter game. The Inter result was a great result against one of the most informed teams in Europe at that time, or still now. They were well beaten at home to Barcelona after that one. So they have had a bit of a stinker in that 3-0 in their most recent home game. But that did come after a long 120 minutes fixture against Inter Milan. So we'll maybe give them a bit of slack for that. Away form for Dortmund in the competition is okay. They went to Newcastle and won. They went to AC Milan and won. Lost in Paris. Got a draw in PSV. 1-1 draw the week that was, I think, Malcolm. Lost at the weekend against Stuttgart and in danger of missing the top 4, sitting down in 5th at the moment. Might end up missing out on Champions League if they don't pull the finger out. Ultimately, I think the same as you. I think you have to back Atletico here on the home form in particular. I don't think they'll want to leave this to chance and go back to Dortmund with a draw or anything like that. They won't want to go there with anything less than a win. I like Atletico here at 4-5, but I'm going to go for the team total again. Atletico to score 2 or more at 5-6, so a very similar price. Play it whichever way you want, really. The reason they've done this in every home game in this competition, in their 4 home games, they've scored 14 goals. So they've scored at least 2 in every one of them. So I'm just going to go for the team total here. Atletico team total over 1.5 at 5 to 6.
Okay, pretty much same page that time. Final game in this competition, PSG taking on Barcelona on Wednesday. PSG 9-10, -111. Draw 14-5, +280. Barcelona 11-4, +275. I'm going to go out on a limb here, Barry, and say you have made the same pick as me in this game. Lead us off.
Yeah, so PSG here, courtesy of a win over Sociedad in the last round. Fairly straightforward, that one. We both liked PSG. We thought the odds were very favourable for PSG in both of those legs. It was the right time to back them. We've done well off those games. Fairly straightforward, that one, but the group stage was anything but straightforward. Just 8 points from the 6 games. They had defeats to Newcastle, defeat at AC Milan. Both of them were away from home. They are at home here. Should have lost at home to Newcastle. We're not still going on about that, though. They look comfortable in the league as usual, 10 points clear, but they have started to drop points lately. 4 draws in the last 6 league games. Only 1 defeat at home all season. And those draws recently might just be a result of them coasting towards the end of the season. They know they've got that league in the bag. Another draw last night for them. PSG, favourites to come through the tie. But I've yet to be blown away by them this season in the Champions League when I've watched them. I think they're fortunate to still be in it. I think Barcelona will beat them over the 2 legs to qualify from this. But it's then what can Barca do here in the away leg? I think Barcelona can get at least a draw. I think PSG have been full of draws lately. Barcelona are in pretty good form at the moment. Really good result, that 3-0 win over Atletico, with Atletico not losing many at home at all. Similar sort of tie here. PSG's home form is red hot. Barcelona can come away from here unbeaten. Barcelona double chance for me at 5 to 6.
Okay, Baz is taking Barcelona. Mesky in the chat. Hello, mate. How you doing? New name to me. Pointing out, rightfully so, that La Liga teams are on a week and a half's rest as well. Spain are really good at that. The Spanish FA and the authorities do tend to give the teams a lot of rest before European games, where the FA in this country would just make them play them all on the same day if they couldn't give a shit. We saw the Turkish lot walked off last night, didn't they? Fenerbahce walked off in the Turkish Super Cup because that game, the Turkish Super Cup last night, was too close to their Europa League game. So they said, we're not playing it. So they put out the under-10s, and then after 90 seconds, when the other team scored, they just all went home. But yeah, that's a great point, Mesky. Appreciate that. And also, thanks for joining. Well, you kind of got the same bet, Barry. It's just you've done it slightly off the ladies' menu. Because my pick is just Barcelona to win on the money line at 11-4, +275. I think these domestic results for PSG is the manager's just intentionally fannying about now, and he said as much that he's planning for next year without Mbappe. So he sort of he gets Mbappe like 57 minutes every week and then takes him off. And he is just...
Yeah, he was on the bench this week. Came off the bench after about 70 minutes with him 1-0 down.
Because they're so far in front in the league, he's planning, it's like pre-season for next year. Now, I don't know how that helps to then want to switch it on in the Champions League. Like, I would just keep rolling. Like, so yeah, they've drawn 4 of their last 6. Barca, 8 points behind Madrid, but they're in very good form, you know. They've won 5 out of 6. They've kept 5 clean sheets in a row, which is crucial. They've got a 3-0 win at Atletico Madrid in that 5 clean sheet little run. The prices are too far apart. This should be +150, 6-4, each of 2, but it's not. You can get +275 on Barcelona. So that is where I'm going to go. Next up, right, I don't know what you've picked, Baz. I've gone into Europa League, but I haven't gone game by game here. I have got a really boring money line parlay. So I can throw that out, but I need to know what have you got next, Baz?
I've got a really boring goals parlay for Europa League. I haven't put a lot of effort into Europa League at all.
Yeah, I think
so we'll just put those out.
All show so far is like you've picked the same teams as me, but you've taken goals where I've taken money lines. I reckon you've got the same goals parlay, yeah. So I've concentrated on 2 games involving English teams here. There's a couple of good-looking games. You've got the all-Italian game in AC Milan and Roma, and then Benfica take on Marseille. But I've left those 2. The 2 games I'm looking at are Bayer Leverkusen against West Ham and Liverpool against Atalanta. Both these games are on Thursday. So Leverkusen are minus 227, 11-25 to beat West Ham. I mean, they're 16 points clear. They are home and host in the German league. So they can afford to sort of prioritise this almost like. West Ham continue to confound me because I faded them again at the weekend. And somehow they won 2-1 from behind with that horrible late VAR goal. But West Ham aren't anywhere near this Leverkusen team. Nowhere near. If this was a Premier League game, Leverkusen comfortably. So I put Leverkusen in the parlay and I put them in with Liverpool, Baz. Liverpool are 9-25, minus 277 against Atalanta. Liverpool have battered everyone in this competition. No, I don't pay much notice to this, but when I check the scores at like 8:30 on a Thursday, Liverpool are already 7-0 up against somebody. They will have to get over that setback against Man United at the weekend. They'll have to psychologically recover from that. But again, like I say, Atlanta are 6th in Serie A. They've only got 1 win in 5. They lost at Calgary at the weekend. They've got a 4-0 defeat at Inter Milan in their recent form as well. It's dead simple, but it pays even money, which is boring and chalky. But I tell you what, it does not look like a good bet. Like Leverkusen and Liverpool money line double. Or if you want to get a little bit fruity, and I like them both on the handicap, Baz. If you can take them both minus 1.5, that's 100-30 plus 333.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't going to look at the Europa League at all, to be honest. I haven't got that excited about this tournament yet. But as it gets to the later stages, I suppose we probably should have done. You messaged this afternoon and said you'd picked some Europa. So I had a look and nothing jumped out at me. The only thing that did jump out at me is the amount of goals there were in the previous round, in the round of 16. Tons of goals. 61 over the 16 matches played. 61 goals, so average of almost 4 per game. And in the first legs, 6 of the 8 first leg games went over 3.5 goals. So tons of goals. Wasn't anything cagey about these games at all. And I think it can be a bit of that about the Europa League. A Champions League, there's more potential for it to be cagey. I think there's a certain point where teams are a bit more relaxed about the Europa League. I suppose this gets to the stage now where there's a chance of a trophy. But I'm going to go for goals again. This is even more boring than yours. Not very creative at all. It's all 4 games, over 2.5 goals. 15-2, 7.5-1, plus 750. So yeah, the 4 Europa League games, all to finish over 2.5 goals at 15-2 for me.
Okay, I like that, Baz. And I think you've had a little look at the EFL, your speciality, Barry. Is this correct?
I have had a little delve into EFL. I haven't had a proper time to dive into it deeply because there's a load of stuff, Champions League, League 1, League 2 this week. But I had a quick skim through this afternoon to see what jumped off the page. And there's a couple of things I like. One of them's a bit of an underdog play. And the other one is a one I really like, is a bit of a banker. So I'll start off with my underdog EFL Championship, Southampton versus Coventry. Southampton are 8-11 to win that one. The draw 3-1, Coventry 100-30. And I love Coventry here. I tipped up Coventry on Saturday to beat Leeds at the weekend. Leeds were in great form, but Coventry can cause problems for anybody. Coventry in brilliant form themselves. And they were a really good price. They were 100-30 to beat Leeds. No, a bit shorter. They were just under 3-1 to beat Leeds the other day. Went 2-0 up, finished 2-1 winners. I thought Coventry were really good value there, and I'm saying exactly the same here. Southampton have failed to win in 3 games now. They've had a little bit of a stumble. Coventry have won 5 of the last 6. That includes wins over Leeds and wins over Wolves. Good sides. Coventry at 100-30 as a winner appeals as an underdog. But also, I like Coventry to score 2 or more is a safer play. 13-8 for 2 or more. They've not been shut out in their last 8 games now, so they're always getting on the score sheet. And they've scored 2, at least 2, in 5 of their last 6 games. So they've got good record for scoring 2 goals in games as well. 13-8 for Coventry team total over 1.5. So as an underdog in the Championship, Coventry to beat Southampton, or if you want to play it a bit safer and keep the sort of 2-2 or 3-2 Southampton on your side, then Coventry team total 13-8 for over 1.5 goals. And then we'll delve down into League Two. Stockport, I think, look, a great price at 4-5 to beat Colchester. They're away to Colchester or Colchester. How would you say it? Colchester or Colchester?
Colchester.
I would say Colchester. I don't know why I've said Colchester when I come in here.
Should we delete the whole show?
Yeah, just ruined it. It's ruined it. Start again.
Absolutely fucked it, haven't you, Baz?
Stockport have won 4 in a row. They're unbeaten in 9. They've scored 12 goals in the last 4 games. And they're up against Colchester, who've just lost at home to Wrexham, who are another one of the promotion contenders at the weekend. And Colchester have got just 1 win in 11. They've got a lot of draws in there, but I think Stockport will have enough here. I think Stockport are a good price at 4-5. Certainly want to stick in any Accas and things like that. So that's my other pick in the EFL, was Stockport to beat Colchester. In League Two, on Tuesday night, both of those picks are Tuesday night, by the way. Stockport to win at 4-5.
It's an absolute madness, League Two at the minute. Mansfield, who looked home and hosed, they've totally fallen off a cliff and are now sitting in 4th. Wrexham have come like they've been shot out of a cannon. They're up to 2nd now, behind Stockport. And suddenly MK Dons, who I can't remember seeing up there all season, have now just snuck into 3rd. They've done like the Man United thing.
It can be a very, very streaky league. Like, it's trying to sort of latch on to trends. It can be the same with goals. Crew at the beginning of the season were brilliant for over 2.5s and both teams to score. And then they just went totally off the boil. And you've almost got to avoid them for goals now because they've got the potential to have the 1-0s and the 1-1s and stuff now. Very, very streaky. It's sort of following the trends. Morecambe's one I'm following at the moment because over 2.5 in Morecambe games is brilliant at the moment. But there's a few things like that where you just got to look at what the latest trend is. What I find really good looking at League Two is the form table. Just look at the last 5 fixtures and look at their form. Look for the team that's only scored 2 goals in the last 5 games, playing against the team who scored 12 in the last 5 games, things like that. You can pick up some good trends from that last 5 form table.
Well, that's your job, Baz. Don't make the people do that. The people tune in so you can tell them so they don't have to do that. That's what the people are listening for. Right, I think we're done. Thank you, everybody. I know this was a weird time. That's my fault. It tends to be my fault when we do this. Wednesday or Thursday night, who knows? Me and Baz will discuss. But yeah, thanks everyone who joined us. The Backers family, Mesky, James, Craig, Benedict, Luke up the Oldham, and everybody else. Show will be scheduled. So yeah, just go and look for it. Like, rate, review, thumbs up, comment, all of that shenanigans. You can sign up. Underdog Fantasy, use our code PLGP. That's fun as well. Baz, would you like to mention anything else before we go?
No, just keep an eye on YouTube for all the short stuff. Been trying to put a bit more stuff out there. So if you get a chance to see any of that, make sure you give it a thumbs up or what have you. I've just put something out now for tonight's Serie A. Anyone listening on podcast won't care because they'll already have missed it. But the podcast will go out a little bit later. But keep an eye on the shorts because anything that crops up in the games that we haven't covered, we'll keep putting out on there.
Bob's teams have got to catch up. We're starting to catch up on the rained out fixtures this week, Baz. So we have games Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if anybody wants me in the next 5 days, I'll be watching small children run their legs off 5 days out of 6. 5 days out of 6, Baz. Right, okay. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the Champions League. We will see you down the road. Cheers.